I think it's now about 2 or 3 days since I showed you the progress on this, and in that time I have finished inking the main set. I've left the bit of ground behind the shed blank because you're not going to see it so long as the shed's there. By the time I next need this set I might have come up with some other idea for what might have been concealed behind the shed, so I'm just going to leave this piece of ground blank to keep my options open for the time being. Also, more excitingly, there is the finished shed. The development of a piece like this for a Papercuts set will start off with the outlines to get the shape right, and then the final elements will be things like, you can see I've drawn the sellotape holding the fins together on the roof. There's a hint of shiplap timberwork on the end wall of the shed, and over at this end I've got that vertical planking. I do realise, of course, that when you're normally building a shed you would have the timberwork going the same way, so usually always horizontal the whole way round, but I just thought making it different at opposite ends of the shed would make it look more interesting, so I did. It's not impossible to construct a shed like that, so I thought I'll do that. It's possibly ended up being the biggest single cutout in the entire history of the series. However, it's not quite finished. You'll note the door looks rather featureless. That's because that is not the final door. What I'm going to do is make 3 or 4 separate cutouts that go on there. Cutout on top of a cutout on top of a cutout. It all gets terribly of Inception here. I'm going to do that so that the door can swing open. I think apart from that, the set is ready to go. Just little bits of blue tack around the back edge. You don't want to make the bits of blue tack too big because otherwise it makes a big conspicuous lump on the front side of the bits of paper where they've been pressed together, which looks bad. Now I just use my extremely clever ink dot alignment system, so they are there and there. I've also found it's best to turn the finger upside down and actually push down with the nail, because it's that bit harder, it doesn't have the same give as the front side of your finger, which means that rather than the blue tack pushing through the paper and into the soft part of your finger and being able to keep its shape, the nail forces the blue tack into a flatter shape in between the bits of paper. Whether it's actually visible on camera in the final product, I'm not entirely sure, but I think it might be, so I do tend to do that. Particularly important to tack down little sticky out bits like the ends of the fins just here, because otherwise if they get bashed into with other elements or just with your hands in the process of animating, then they could quite easily get damaged, which obviously I want to avoid. So there you go. Shed in situ. Now I just need to go through the whole tracing process all over again and make me a couple of doors. It's now Thursday the 21st of November, and today is the moment of truth for the big new set with the shed that I've been working on for the last week or so. I'm about to put it up on the wardrobe doors here and hopefully start filming. Pre-blue tacked, so it should all be ready to go. I find the handles on the wardrobe door actually make quite a convenient levelling gauge to make sure I'm getting it at least more or less on the plane, which is quite nice. There you go. A few other weird and wonderful details. The main lighting in my room comes from these halogen spot bars, and for filming purposes I just like to point the end2 down onto the wardrobe door a bit more directly, so it just boosts the light that bit more and helps the camera to avoid getting noise in the image, basically. note the use of sleeve as a thermal protection thing there so I didn't burn myself. Okay, the set's in place, the set is lit, and hopefully I'll be actually rolling cameras in a couple of minutes. A couple more fun facts before I get stuck in. Most of the cutout components for the series live in cream egg boxes. One for character parts, one for props, and another one for sort of environmental and special effects bits, like the puddles of lemon juice out of episode 1 would live in that box, for example. This is what the script looks like, a bit closer up. I like, when I filmed a scene, to scribble it all out in yellow highlighter. It's just a visual way of keeping track of my progress through the episode. There's a big lump of not scribbled out, taking up, well, most of page 1 and a bit at the top of page 2 here, which I'm hoping to get all of in the can today. Maybe a bit ambitious, maybe not, we'll see.
Millimeter, get off! You're eating our supplies! We'll need those for the flight simulation.